St. Peter's is out of the NCAA tournament. I know some of y'all are sad. Some of y'all are in mourning. I mean, college basketball is not fun anymore. Who wants to watch it without St. Peter's? That's why today I bring to you a 7-round 2022 NFL mock draft. I'm bringing joy back to your life. We're going to go from team to team, draft class to draft class. So go ahead and smack that like button like it was Chris Rock talking about your wife. Because these take a lot of work, a lot of time. I'm probably going to take a couple of days off, and I'm going to bring you a sleepers video later this week. We are going to have a couple of live streams as well, so hang with me. It's draft season. It's the busiest time of the year for me, and it's going to be a blast. But what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy, Brushmo, just in case you did not know so. Go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. I already said smack that like button. Go ahead and share the video out on social media. And yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Full disclosure, this isn't predictive. This is what I would do. And what I'm not typically a guy that reaches for need. You know, if I could fill a hole, that's great. But I'm not going to be like jumping like 40, 50 picks just to fill a hole. I'm going to take the best player available. That's just who I am. So let's see how I did for your team. We're going alphabetical order. I'm not leaving timestamps. Y'all can do that. I want you to watch the whole video. I don't want you to just jump to your team. But we're going to go to the Arizona Cardinals. And I start off by taking George Karlaftis. He seems to fall in more of my recent mock drafts. He's just a solid player there to help replace the loss of Chandler Jones. That's big. I knew going into this I wanted to address the corner position. Getting Martin Emerson was huge. I like having a nice corner with length. Josh Thompson's a guy that can fill multiple roles there in the secondary, but again, it's at the end of the 7th round, so he's probably going to be a special teamer. And you might be looking at Dameon Pierce like, man, we just brought back James Conner. It's a guy that's been beat up his whole career, so grabbing someone there in the backfield that could fill multiple roles, whether as a pass catcher, pass blocker, or just running the football. That way you're just not leaning on Eno Benjamin. And by the way, Dameon Pierce, I think he was like 77, 79 on my big board, so it was good value. Cade May, again, once we get to the 200s, it's like you're really not... You're going to be lucky to find a starter here. So I was just looking for quality depth. Cade Mays is a guy that has that NFL frame to play on the interior. Snagged him there. Alex Wright was a good pickup guy that's probably going to end up falling because he's just kind of a total question mark in terms of this draft process. Like unable to perform at the at his pro day or at the combine. Wasn't eligible for the Senior Bowl. He played against lower level competition, so he's probably going to go in that like mid to late day 3 area. So we snagged him there. Again, more edge help, pass rush, pass rush, pass rush. Really wanted to help the defense. That's why I also got Hicks. He's more of a slot guy there out of Wisconsin. Tested out well at the pro day. And then Emeka Emezie is more of this physical type of receiver. Again, not going to be able to hit all the needs. I really wanted to go receiver. I was never in the right opportunity. There was never the right spot to take one without like dramatically like reaching for one. So this is the draft we got. I'm actually pretty satisfied with that. Let me know what you think, Cards fans. And on to the next. We're talking to the Atlanta Falcons, and this draft started out weird. I knew Garrett Wilson. I knew immediately we're not doing trades, so I knew, hey, receiver. I'm going to take receiver early, Garrett Wilson. Didn't expect Desmond Ridder to be there at 43, because guess what? Marcus Mariota, he ain't my guy. He's good. He's a good guy on the bench, good replacement starter, bridge quarterback. But Desmond Ridder being available there, I was like, heck yes. And then I was able to grab Alex Pierce, the guy he threw to for the last like 3 seasons. Sign me up. So not only did we like stack the receiver position with 2 very quality players, but getting Desmond Ridder I thought was huge in the second round. It really changed that pick at 43, changed my draft plan because I was going in like, all right, we're going to probably have to hit receiver a few times. It would be nice to get some cornerback help, which I was unable to do in this draft. It is what it is, but I knew I wanted a lot of edge help too. But, I mean, they brought in Casey Hayward, so part of me was like, you know what? I mean, we could go in on pass rush quite a bit, but again, Atlanta, you're not a team that you're in a rebuild. You're not looking to really vie or contend for the playoffs, contend in your division. So I didn't want to sacrifice value. I just wanted to grab really best player available for the most part. That's why I ended up snagging Quay Walker at 74, help replace Foye Oluokun. I know y'all also got is it Michael Walker, former Fresno State guy. But hey, man, Walker's great value here. Cameron Thomas was good value at 82. I grabbed Barno because he's more of that speed rusher off the side I would have liked. Jeremiah Moon's a guy that kind of played off ball, but also like how he tested out, his measurables are insane. He's a guy that I don't mind swinging for. Isaiah Spiller obviously was just a really good pick at the back end, a guy that produced very well there for Texas A&M, just didn't test out well. I imagine he's going to fall. I'm not one that was particularly high on him, but here at 151, I was like, that's great value. Dontario Drummond, guy in the later rounds that I was like, he's good with the ball in his hands. He's more shifty, not really speedy. And if anything, he's a really good blocking receiver. So, Atlanta Falcons, I think I did good. But before we get too deep into this video, take a look at this. This is a nice jersey, ain't it? Well, check out this beautiful ad read. Are you tired of spending $80 to $100 on your favorite team's jerseys just to watch those players go to greener pastures? Then check out Team Jersey Pros. They do custom-made shirts, jerseys, and hoodies. And with promo code BROSHMO, all caps, you get 10% off that order. You can get some fine drip for only $30 to $60, depending on how you want to customize it. You can go with a football jersey, basketball jersey. I personally went with a baseball jersey. Even got the logo there. It just looks nice. It's one of the best ways to support the channel. Don't forget promo code BROSHMO, all caps, gets you that 10% off. But anyway, back to the video. That's right. You too can get your own custom-made jersey, have it look nice like the one I have now. But let's keep this sucker rolling with the Baltimore Ravens. And I actually really like this draft. I snagged Jermaine Johnson at 14. Obviously, they weren't able to land Zadarius Smith, but it is what it is. Jermaine Johnson easily could go in the top 10. I was happy to get him there. He's real pro ready. Jalen Pitre was a guy this is Baltimore defense. They love to have like 3 safety sets on the field. Pitre comes in, can play the slot. I don't know if Taven Young, if they brought him back or if he was even a free agent. I can't recall. But he's also a guy that's dealt with injuries in his career. And so grabbing Pitre to really be the slot guy there. That's how I see him. But he's also a guy that could be the box. Justin Ross, listen, forget Sammy Watkins. We grabbed Justin Ross. Yeah, probably not. He's not the athletic freak that Watkins is, but he kind of serves the same function. Ed Ingram was good value. A guy that actually I think could play a variety of different spots on the offensive line, but mainly I'm looking at center, and he was there at 100. Brian Robinson, obviously there was a lot of injuries last year at the running back position for the Ravens, but regardless, this is my short yardage. This is my power back. This is the guy I'm going to rely on in the goal line, in the red zone. Rasheed Walker's more of a developmental tackle, as we know Stanley's kind of dealt with injuries the last couple of years. So Walker, a guy that has very good physical tools. It's just he just never peaked at Penn State. Matthew Butler's a nice pass rusher on the interior there. Jeremy Ruckert. Hey, Ravens, they like having maybe 2 tight ends on the field at a time. So grabbing a little depth there. Ruckert being one of the better blocking tight ends in this class. Bell, very underrated talent at a Florida A&M. They're at safety. Pretty solid there. Like I said, man, the Ravens, they really like running 3 safety sets. So just getting more talent there is nice. Darion Kendrick was just very good value there at 196. Obviously had a terrible pro day, and he's gonna fall, but still, you gotta trust the tape to some regard. And in that mid to late day 3 area, I don't mind taking him. So, Ravens, I like what we did. On to the Buffalo Bills, starting with Andrew Booth, guy that honestly, give or take, could go higher, could go lower. He's kind of a mystery since he's kind of missed the offseason draft process because of injury, but he's a good scheme fit, good fit for the coverage there with the Bills. You want to get competition at that cornerback 2 spot. Breece Hall, he was there at 57. Yeah, I'm going to take him. He's going to go a lot earlier, but yeah, if you're not new to the channel, you know running back value. Running backs were never going to go high in my draft, in a draft where I'm the one controlling all teams. It's just not going to happen. But Breece Hall, great value. Calvin Austin, I was like 89. I don't mind grabbing a gadget guy here, like a guy that could come in, play in the slot. You could have a lot of fun, creative, different roles for him, and also offer some special teams value there. Grabbing Smith there out of Virginia Tech, I thought was very key to help out the guard position. So much so that like near the end, or basically at the end of the draft, Brock Hoffman was still on the board, and he played center there at Virginia Tech. And I was like, he was good at the Shrine Ball. I was like, let's scoop him up. Him and Smith are teammates. Listen, Mitch Morris, he's fine, but if we could develop a guy behind him, let's go. Let's do it. I did address the linebacker position a couple of times because I'm not a fan of Tremaine Edmonds. I think y'all could do better. So we grabbed Haynes forward. He's a bit of an older prospect. That's probably why he's going to fall in the draft. But he's a sure tackler. Terrell Bernard, size, kind of an issue with him, but a guy that's just like probably one of the hardest, one of the like highest motor guys at the linebacker position in this draft. Win again with the corner position. Josh Jobe, he's a good technician. He's not going to go that high, but good value, 185. But Bold, a bit more of a project guy that, again, never reached his potential there. Whether it was at, I think it was he at UCLA before? UCLA or USC? Doesn't matter. He ended with his career with Miami. And I can tell you, last 2 seasons, he never achieved that potential. And then the Carolina Panthers. Listen, Panthers fans, you got to give me the benefit of the doubt. Y'all are in kind of a mess here. Odds on, like right now, the odds on favorite is Kenny Pickett at 6. You're just gonna accept quarterback's gonna be that 6 overall pick. But if I'm gonna do that, I'm going with the upside of a guy like Malik Willis. I mean, again, you could try to build your team for the future, grabbing probably like I think Charles Cross was available at this point, but you know what? Listen, we got 1 pick inside the top 100. I'm going to swing for the fences. Malik Willis has that type of upside. You don't have to start him right away, and guess what? You'll have a nice high draft pick in 2023. So this will also achieve firing Matt Rule. So you should be on my side with this. But let's really talk about what I tried to do after that, because at that point, it's like, man, okay, I'm really just trying to take best player available. I'm trying to take good players that can maybe fill some needs we have along. Like D'Angelo Malone was available there, and I was like, okay, this is perfect. He could come in, kind of be that Hassan Reddick role potentially. Josh Rivera's. It's a guy that I've been high on during the draft process. Give you some depth there at the guard position. Sterling Weatherford's a guy that's former safety, moving to the linebacker position, tested out extremely well. So get a good coverage linebacker there who is clean up as a tackler, is what it is. But I really liked these last 2. Logan Bruss is a guy that it's been very good at Wisconsin. You know, he doesn't have like a terribly great upside, I'd say, but I think he could be a solid replacement starter in the NFL. And Wesley French is a guy I just started looking into because he tested out very well. And kind of impressed, like no lie, it could be a late day 3 gem. Again, we're gonna be doing that sleepers video later this weekend. He might be on it. So I did the best I can do. I know either Panther fans are either gonna love the Malik Willis pick or you're gonna hate it. It is what it is. Can we all just agree that this probably gets Matt Rule fired? And that's a plus. All right, let's keep this sucker rolling. Chicago Bears. I really like this draft for the Bears. George Pickens, pairing him up with Bo Melton there to kind of be the slot. You got Mooney there. That's kind of lit. I like that. I like that a lot. Bo Melton, too. I think he's going to be pretty darn good in the NFL. The thing is, he's going to fall down boards because he's probably a slot-only guy. Abraham Lucas there to be the right tackle because it sounds like Larry Boreham's maybe moving inside a guard. At least that's some of the reports that I've read. And plus, Lucas, very good value, pro-ready guy. Sam Williams at 71, utter steal. Utter steal. You just got rid of Khalil Mack. You can never have enough pass rushers. So you got Robert Quinn. You got, Tayshaun Gibson, something like that. I forgot his name. It's not coming to mind. But still, just add this guy to the rotation is what it is. Right now, it sounds like the center position's a bit murky. It's like, okay, is it going to be, Sam Mustipher? Or are you going to move Cody Whitehair back there? I don't know. Luke Wattenberg, another guy that I really like in this draft. That's kind of a center-only prospect. And then Malcolm Rodriguez, bit undersized, but he's going to be a very good special teamer and maybe a guy that could maybe make a few starts for you. They just got rid of Trevathan, so yeah, adding some more help at linebacker is never a bad option. But I was really happy with the first 3 picks, and then grabbing Bo Melton just really put a smile on my face. Let me know what you think, Bears fans. And then on to the Cincinnati Bengals. Listen, you addressed offensive line, but I didn't think it didn't stop me. Braxton Jones, that's a very good developmental tackle, very good physical upside, great length. I don't mind developing it. I mean, you might be like, well, we got Williams and Collins going forward, but it's not bad to have a depth guy there, Jamari Sawyer, just in case things with Jackson Carman doesn't work out. So I couldn't pass on the value there. Travis Jones, listen, that interior defensive line, it's a very important position. Larry Ogunjobi, he's not coming back. You got to replace those snaps. Travis Jones is, I think, the perfect guy for that. I really wish I addressed the corner position a bit earlier. It just didn't happen. It is what it is. Sometimes that's just the way the draft goes. And listen, like, you're not gonna not everyone in your draft class is gonna be a star, you know. So getting a guy like a Caleb Evans isn't half bad. He's kind of a guy that could be an outside corner, could be a safety. I think he's a bit interested in that regard. JT Woods, though, keep in mind, you only put the franchise tag on your boy. I can't remember his name. He's a very good safety. He's a very good safety in the league. Some would say a top 5 safety. I can't think of his name. Oh, I'm going to hit myself. Jesse Bates. I'm so dumb. But yeah, he's got a franchise tag on. But listen, straight up, Von Bell could be... You could upgrade from that. He's a very fine box safety, but you always want to be looking for better. JT Woods, this dude glides on the field. He just finds himself around the football and makes a lot of big plays. So I liked him at 174. Greg Dulcich, I know you just lost... CJ Uzama. Dulcich is a wonderful receiving threat at tight end. Sincere McCormick. Let's try to get a bit more help in the backfield there. Again, this was like 7th round, on the verge of the 7th round. So you got your boy Joe Mixon. Chris Evans is a pretty solid passing down back. Sincere McCormick is more of that that low center of gravity. Potential home run hitter, but he's got a lot of power to him, so I like adding him to the backfield there. And Ali Fayed, this was like what, 252, so like I like him as like kind of what the plan was with Joseph Asai before he got hurt. So Fayed, hey man, I like him a lot. He's one of the more I would say he's got probably some of the most pass rushing moves of any pass rusher in this class. He had a very impressive Shrine Bowl. So yeah, Bengals fans, let me know. I can imagine the hate, like, why don't we have a corner? Like, I just didn't want to reach for one. I'm sorry. And then the Cleveland Browns. Arnold Ebiketie. Listen, I know you added Chase Winovich. Listen, I know he was kind of in the doghouse in New England, but you don't want to just rely on that. So Arnold Ebiketie, great value at 44. Cole Strange, come in and contend for that center spot that J.C. Treader now is, now he's gone. Cole Strange could come in and contend. He's had a very good offseason draft process from the Senior Bowl, where it's like, wow, this kid from Chattanooga, he's coming in, he's competing, he looks like he belongs, and then he tested out great. Romeo Dubs there at 99. He's actually higher on my board than I thought he'd be, but this is good. This is a good vertical threat. Like, may not be nearly as fast as a guy like Anthony Schwartz, but he's a more complete receiver than a guy like Anthony Schwartz. Otito, you get your nose tackle there, get a little help in the run department, and then Mike Rose, it's just good, solid linebacker to have there on the roster. Charlie Collier, again, this cat's probably like a good tight end 2 in the league. We're here at 223. He's just a nice guy to have on your roster. So grabbed him there. Overall, I thought it was pretty good. Like, I really liked my first 4 picks. Mike Rose, good depth piece, but I really think you could potentially have 4 starters there with the first 4 picks. Dallas Cowboys. This one's going to be hot. I'm curious what Dallas fans have to say. I'm curious if y'all Cowboys fans like this draft at all, because I liked it. Zion Johnson, I think that is an ideal pick for the Cowboys, because you now have holes at right tackle. Okay, if Terrence Steele's your guy, whatever. Tyron Smith, he's got to retire someday. And plus, when was the last time he played a full season? Zion Johnson has the capability, I think, to play either tackle spot. Regardless, he's your left guard. You have a hole there at left guard. Bam. Zion Johnson fills a lot of needs. He could be a lot of different things for y'all. Roger McCreary was just really good value, and I think could be an immediate upgrade over Jordan Lewis. Darian Beavers, just getting some help there at linebacker, and Beavers has had a very impressive offseason draft process as well. Bailey Zappi, you might be like, why are we drafting a quarterback? Because listen, Dak was beat up last year. He was hurt the year before, right? Like, if Dak misses a game or two, I'd rather not rely on Cooper Rush. And I'm a Cooper Rush guy. So you get Bailey Zappi. Let's get a little competition for that backup quarterback spot. Tyreek Smith's going to be a very solid player there in the rotation on the defensive line. Daniel Bellinger, you put Dalton Schultz. He's on the franchise tag. I imagine he's going to get a bigger contract than that at some point. If he hasn't already. Schultz contract. I don't think they have yet. Yeah, he's still on the franchise. He's on the franchise tag. Okay, but I imagine y'all work on an extension, get that done. If you don't, Daniel Bellinger's a guy that's tested out pretty well, and hey, it's nice to have depth. You don't have Jarwin anymore, so getting another potential tight end too is not a bad option. Neil Farrell Jr. He's just adding some meat to that defense, adding some meat in the middle. And then I finally addressed the receiver position, just because, again, I found myself just not in a good spot to draft a receiver early. But we grabbed Reggie Robertson Jr., who before the injury back in 2020, I thought he would have been a day 2 pick in the 2021 NFL draft class. He decided to return. I think he's a solid player. And Isaiah Weston's a guy that I've been very impressed with during the combine. Tested out extremely well. He's a bigger receiver. The tape's kind of hit or miss, but enough to intrigue me to take him at 193. So, yeah, overall, I actually really like this draft for the Dallas Cowboys. And then the Denver Broncos. Straight up Denver. Broncos fans, I was just taking best player on the board. Like Brandon Smith, I was like, ooh, I'll develop a potential star linebacker. Like, he doesn't have to start now. Even better, you could probably put him at the will, because it sounds like you're going to have Jewel at in the middle. So I like it. Nick Cross is a freaking phenomenal athlete. So if guys like who do y'all have? Not Brandon Jones. Who's the other? Caden Stearns or Jamar Johnson. They don't work out as the heir apparents to Kareem Jackson. Then Nick Cross, dude, is a stud. Fidarian Mathis, solid player to play along your defensive line. It could kind of be a potential replacement for Shelby Harris. Josh Pascal is just a phenomenal run stuffer at the edge position. Could also kind of be a 3-4 end if you need him to be. You haven't brought back Melvin Gordon, but even still, like, I think Rashad White is just his potential in the passing game, like his home run ability, I just couldn't ignore. Jalen Armour Davis, I think, is a good fit for this defense, and low key could be a very, very like underrated, like very good, like potential starter of the future. This is a guy with a small sample size that was stuck kind of right in the pine for a little bit there at Alabama. Got his chance to start this year and was easily their best corner. Austin Allen, just some tight end depth. Noah Fant's gone, and Austin Allen's got ridiculous size. Then Tyree Carter is more of a project at this point, probably a guy that's going to hit your practice squad, but I thought he was pretty impressive at the Senior Bowl. So overall, I really liked this class for the Broncos. Then the Detroit Lions, I went Kyle Hamilton at 2. I know Travon Walker is now suddenly the odds-on favorite to go number 2. We'll see if that comes to fruition. I have Kyle Hamilton higher, so I went with Kyle Hamilton. I think that's a good tone setter for the defense, and I know Detroit fans, they're one of two minds. You're absolutely gonna hate the idea of taking a quarterback at 32, even though I think that's unreasonable, just because the potential value, like Goff, is probably not going to be your franchise guy. Why not take a swing at 32? This is your second first-round pick. You get a fifth-year option. Quarterback, that value after you draft them doesn't depreciate like any other position. Like, they retain their value typically for a while. So if just take him, take a year to get a good look at him, and if you think he's your guy, then go run with him. If you think he's not, take one in next year's draft and then trade. Like, we've seen it with guys like Josh Rosen, who had probably one of the worst rookie seasons a quarterback could have, still ended up getting traded for like a second-round pick. So like, that value still there's a lot of value to taking quarterback in the first round. But yeah, Sam Howell is actually my quarterback too. I'm a big fan of Sam Howell. So like, him at 32 was like, it was kind of a no-brainer for me. I grabbed Nakobe Dean at 34. Kingsley Enagbare was the highest guy on my board I believe at that point. So I grabbed him there. I like his versatility. I think he could be a guy that could kind of like kick into 3-4 end if you want him to. You can move him around bits and pieces, and I just love how violent he plays. I really think Dan Campbell would love a guy like that. Kevin Austin Jr., a guy that kind of emerged late for Notre Dame, late in the season, and then he tested out like an utter freak. So I don't mind taking a swing at receiver on a guy like Kevin Austin in like the late third, early day 3 area. Josh Williams, ridiculous length, played at Fayetteville State. I don't know. I can't remember. He played at a small school, but tested out very well. He's got a lot of length. Added competition in the corner position. Verone McKinley could potentially be a good free safety, deep safety, 40 maybe somewhere down the road. He was available at 181, man. It's just great value, and it was something y'all need. Connor Hayward just feels like a freaking Dan Campbell guy. I can't see him not going to the Lions. And then Isaiah Pacheco, the Rutgers running back. Listen, this is 234. He tested out great. He looks like a guy that can be a complete running back. And I think Jamal Williams, I thought he was a potential cap casualty. He might be after this season. I think Pacheco. I always want to say, I want to throw an N in there. I don't know why, but I thought it was good value there at the end of the near the like the middle of the 7th round. So it's the 7th round. You're just kind of taking swings at that point. But I think you grabbed like I honestly I think these first 5 picks could end up being real good. So yeah, Lion fans, you're either gonna hate it or you're gonna love it. Plus, last mock draft I didn't give you a quarterback at 32, so I had to come back and do it again. The Green Bay Packers, man, they had a ton of picks, and I went into this like we need to address receiver, but also I want to do some things along the offensive line, and then maybe just like, but I don't want to steer too far away from going best player available, but we have to hit receiver. It's a must. So Trevor Penning was great value, and I think at that point, I'm pretty sure at that point, the top 5 receivers were already off the board. They actually flew off the board real quick. Yeah, the top 5 receivers were all gone by pick 19. So I was like, you know what? I'll just, I guess reach on a guy at 28. So, or on, I put 38 here. It's 28. Whoopsies. But yeah, I'll reach on a guy at 28. So Trevor Penning, great value. You could put Jenkins back at guard. I like that. And then Christian Watson. I was like, you know what? They lost MVS. This is kind of like MVS here. Drake Jackson, incredible value there at 53. A guy like you may work in the rotation, and he's probably a project at this point. But the Packers, they're not scared of projects. Like they took on Rashawn Gary, for goodness sake. Trey McBride, Robert Tonyan, came back on a 1-year deal, but hey, I don't mind looking for a potential upgrade. Khalil Shakir, I think, is one of my favorite slot guys in this draft. You might be like, oh, we got Amari Rodgers. Yeah, he hardly played and goofed on special teams. I like Shakir better. Jack Sanborn was a very good pickup. I got some good depth at linebacker with Sanborn, and then grabbing Darian Butler, who for Arizona State, he may have like coverage linebacker size, but he's a lot more better. He's more better. He's good against the run, more than you would anticipate. Matt Henningsen, bit undersized, probably could be a 3-4 end, but dude's a penetrator, man. He's got crazy get off. Dane Belton, a guy that could probably like he could play deep, he could play in the box, he could play in the slot. He just fills a lot of roles there in the secondary. You can upgrade Mason Crosby. Listen, I wanted to make this a bit realistic, so I included kickers and punters. So they had to go somewhere. So we grabbed a kicker. Plus, his last name's Dicker. That's pretty sick. And then actually another guy that I'm looking into right now as like late round gems is Howerton out of SMU. Offensive line depth, man. But yeah, I think that guy could be a potential gem, could be a sleeper. But I think I did a pretty good job. Again, don't mind the typo. It's not 38, it's 28. And then the Houston Texans. So I went in because I want to give you kind of my draft strategy. Because initially it was like, I'm going to go best player available. I'm not going to try to reach on anybody. But I'm pretty confident with my first 2 picks. I'm going to try to get some guys that can make an immediate impact on the offense and give Davis Mills at least a fair chance, a fair evaluation to see if we got a guy moving forward. Evan Neal, immediate impact. He's going to be your right tackle. Jameson Williams, honestly, I think he might be back by the season opener, even if he has to miss like the first 4 weeks. Shoot, man, you're getting a filthy receiver. Like, this guy has a very rare stop-start ability, just the way he moves. Pairing him up with Cooks, it's just going to be bonkers. So right there, you're already equipping Davis Mills with necessary weapons. And then we were able to add Kenneth Walker. Listen, he's going to go a lot higher in the draft. He fell to me at 68. Took him. Bam. Oh my goodness. You have a plethora. I mean, Cade Otton is he's a solid blocking tight end there, but I thought I really liked that. David Ojabo, okay. Guys like David Ojabo and Damon Clark, those are guys you're hoping. Like right now the defense is in flux. I don't think you can expect much from the defense this year. Even if you went out and drafted guys that could be starters now. So Ojabo, Clark, they're probably going to have to redshirt their rookie seasons, but they have the potential to be Pro Bowlers at their respective positions. So Kirby Joseph, get some safety help there because Justin Reed's gone. Alontae Taylor has great length. I think he'd be ideal for Lovie Smith's defense. Grabbed a kicker because they have to go somewhere. And actually, Jordan Stout's my top kicker. Isaiah Thomas is a good edge setter, good run stuff, right? And Zaquandre White didn't test out well, but he's got interest in tape. I'll say that. He's got interest in tape. And I think he could offer a bit in the passing game. So I like it. I think this is a home run draft for the Texans. The Indianapolis Colts. I went in with, we got to get a left tackle potentially for the future, even if we bring like Eric Fisher back or something. That's probably not a long-term option. That, and I want receivers. I want receivers, because that's something I just think the Colts have been pretty bad at doing, and it's getting capable weapons, or at least a plethora of weapons for whoever's playing quarterback back there. So Jahan Dotson, he is going to be the number 2 to Michael Pittman. I like that. Kellen Dyche, a guy I've been high on during the off-season draft process. I liked him at the Shrine Bowl a ton. Tyreek Castro Fields, kind of need to replenish some talent at the corner position. James Mitchell, obviously you had Doyle retire, but it was really good value at 159. Leon O'Neal is one of my favorite box safeties in this class. You could also kind of be a dime linebacker if you want him to. Zachary Carter was phenomenal value. I know it says he's at LSU. He's from Florida. Listen, there's going to be mistakes here. I had to make 32 of these, and I did it all in one day. And I'm recording it in the same day. Give me the benefit of the doubt. But he's a guy that could actually play a variety of different roles along the defensive line. I like him there. Spencer Burford, guy that probably is more guard than actual tackle, but he's kind of a project at this point. But, I mean, hey, man, you don't have a first-round pick. I had to take what was given to me. And I think Dyche and Jahan Dotson are guys that are going to pay off in the long run. And Tyreek Castro Fields was a guy who was a hot name after the Senior Bowl. So, here we go. The Jacksonville Jaguars. Talent. That's what I was going for. A lot of their offseason was trying to get help around Trevor Lawrence. So I was like, going into this, I was like, let's go ahead and let's try to set the tone to this defense. And you could kind of tell that with the first 2 picks. Obviously, Aiden Hutchinson, he's on favorite. And that's kind of already the tone setter. That's a locker room guy. Leo Chenal, he's my linebacker 1. He is. I love this dude. He is a tone setter to the defense. Kyler Gordon is a guy that's got good athletic tools. Might be a bit of a project, but you already got some quality talent there at corner. So he's a guy that you can maybe take a little longer to bring up. DeMarvin Leal, kind of this tweener that's kind of falling down boards, but if you go back to his like 2020 tape, it was really good. I can't believe that talent is gone away. So I think grabbing him here, taking a shot on that is just, and I mean, straight up, dude, we legit addressed all 3 levels of the defense. So with pick at 106, Hayes, basically some, just in case Sharif gets hurt, or Sheriff, and or Ben Barch is bad. So Haynes, I thought was good value. Bina Ezi, I think, is a good project tackle, especially if Walker Little doesn't develop or Jawan Taylor doesn't take that next step, or Cam Robinson is just mediocre. Haskell Garrett, probably I imagine it's going to be a similar role as DeMarvin Leal, but it was very good value at 180. James Houston the fourth is one of my favorite guys in this draft class. This cat can get after the quarterback. This dude can get after it. He's going to be a blitzing will linebacker in the NFL. But on top of that, I think he's got decent cover. Like he's got a decent ability to cover. You kind of saw that in the NFL Bowl. I think he tested out decent. He's a former Florida recruit, former Florida Gator, transferred to Jackson State. This cat's one of my sleepers in this class. Smoke Monday. It was probably one of the better better day 3 safeties you could get. Mikael Wright, a guy that might be a bit more undersized, but it was worth a shot at 198. Jerion Ely, I was thinking more of as a return guy and scat back. Charleston Rambo, hey, finally addressed receiver in this draft. It just took to 235, but Rambo was good value there. But yeah, I knew going into this draft, it was like, I want to set the tone for the defense, and I think I did that very well. First 2 picks, Hutch, Chenal, they do that, and then Gordon and Leal, they have good upside. So let me know how you think. How you think I did, Jags? All right, Kansas City Chiefs. A lot of picks. We grabbed Boye Mafe. It was the top, my edge rusher there that came off the board. I knew I wanted to address edge rusher, and then Sky Moore, because legit Christian Watson was snagged before, right in front of me at pick 28. So I was like, hey, listen, man, the Chiefs, where it is, they're high on Sky Moore. I really like Sky Moore. I like his capabilities in this offense. He get the ball in his hands and let him go nuts. And then we were able to get a fun gadget player in Wan'Dale Robinson later in the draft. So I thought that was pretty cool. Tyreek Woolen, good fit for the defense. Might be a bit more of a project, but kind of thought that with L'Jarius Sneed as well. So Woolen, a guy that is freaky athletically. I'll just say that. Freaky build, freaky athletically. Logan Hall feels like a spag guy. He's a bit of a tweener, edge 3 tech. So Daniel Falalele, I wouldn't want to start him right away at right tackle, but you got really, outside of Lucas Nain, might as well grab more competition or a guy to develop for the future. Thomas Booker is also a guy that I think has had a great offseason draft process. So just add in more talent to that defensive line. I really wanted to do that. Zamir White. I like the idea of adding Zamir White in the running back rotation. Test out great. He might not be the most dynamic guy, but you already got guys in the backfield like Clyde Edwards-Helaire who do that. Tyrese Robinson, just another project on the offensive line. Christopher Hinton, again, just add in more competition and more talent to the defensive line. Nefi Sewell, he's like Willie Gay, but I don't think he's gonna be as good. But again, we're at 251, so. And then Vincent Gray, another guy that kind of matches what the Chiefs like in their cornerback room. But Woolen, let's be honest, Woolen's the guy. But I really liked how this draft turned out. So, yeah. All right, Las Vegas Raiders. Didn't have a lot of picks to work with, but I wanted to address the offensive line. But I also wanted to get good value, and I think I did. Luke Fortner, he's going to be your center. He's an upgrade over, who's it, Andre James? I think he's an upgrade. I think he's an immediate upgrade. Kobe Bryant, the Black Mamba, grabbing some cornerback competition. You really going to trust Rocky Sin? I wouldn't. So, Kobe Bryant, good value there. Cordell Volson, played tackle at North Dakota State. I think he projects better as a guard, so maybe a guy that can compete for the left guard spot. So, grabbed that there. Or maybe he ends up being a right tackle. Who knows? Who knows? Ioma Onwuzurike, I think, is a good fit for the new scheme. A guy that can play a lot of different roles on the defensive line there. And then Percy Butler, he's pretty rangy safety. Got him. I mean, he was there at the end of day 3. So, yeah. It's good value. I don't know what to tell you. So, it doesn't necessarily, I don't think it's not the sexiest looking draft, but I think it's a quality draft. We address the offensive line. We address the secondary. And honestly, Onwuzurike, I think, is a guy that can kind of like immediately insert himself into that rotation along the defensive line. And then the Los Angeles Chargers. I was like, let's help freaking Justin Herbert. And that's what I did. Sean Ryan, bam. Right guard. Charles Cross, right tackle. I got starters right there immediately. The offensive line, it's complete. It's complete. But the big question was like, what am I going to do from here? I was like, I want my grabbing another receiver. Didn't really work out that way. That's why you see me take the shots at the end of the 7th round on like Josh Johnson, who's probably a slot only guy. Who's slick as hell, but just ball skills are kind of woof. And then Dijon Dixon out of Nicholls State, who's more this like red zone contested catch guy, big bodied. Jalen Wademeyer, another guy that's gonna fall because he tested out like crap at his pro day, but I think he's a chain mover. I think he's a guy that the ball skills, I don't know what happened this year, but prior 2 seasons as a starter, he didn't have those problems. I think he's a dude that could be in the red zone. I think he's a guy that offers a little bit after the catch. It's great value there. I was thinking, I kept looking for a run stuff and nose tackle. I wasn't able to grab one until Jonathan Ford there at the end of the 7th round. It is what it is, you know. You might look at, why'd you take 2 running backs? Jashaun Corbin's more of the return man. And I'm not gonna lie, he's kind of one of my darlings in this draft. But yeah, I saw him more as a return guy immediately. And then Hassan Haskins is that kind of that beef, that meat that you haven't really had there to complement Austin Eckler, like Larry Roundtree and Joshua Kelly. You could upgrade those guys. Isaac Taylor Stewart, immense upside, never reached his potential there at USC. It's not a bad project corner. Oh, and obviously DeMarco Jackson's good value at the linebacker position. You just lost White. So I like Jackson, man. I think he's been I think he's one of the better early day 3 guys you can get. So overall, I was very happy with this draft. And then the Los Angeles Rams. Listen, straight up. This is a good draft for a team that doesn't have a freaking pick till 104. Matt, I'll get your last name down soon enough. Waltzko. He is a good project tackle. He freaking tested out phenomenally at the combine and his pro day. I thought he was decent enough at the Senior Bowl. If things don't work with Nate Boom, you got this guy potentially as a tackle for the future. Isaiah Likely, he's a fun weapon. Available at 142. I'll take it. Cordell Flott, good slot guy that just came out a year too early. A lot of that was probably because Coach O decided to resign. So I think that led to him declaring a bit earlier than he should have. But I think he's a guy that's still in the process of developing. As you could tell just from his body, he's super thin. But he's got the build that he could put more meat on his bones there. Jaden Peavy's a good guy along the defensive front. Tyree Carpenter is a safety, transition to linebacker as he should. He is a very sure tackler at safety. Like, this guy's got some hits on tape. Luke Tenuta, just some offensive line help. Play tackle at Virginia Tech, probably goes to guard. Chance Campbell, just more depth at linebacker because you really only have Ernest Jones. And then Jack Jones, a guy that he could probably play safety, could probably play slot. Likely he's just a special teamer. So grabbed him here at the end of the 7th round. Overall, no pick until pick 104. That's a good draft. And then my Miami Dolphins, not working with a lot of picks. And you might be like, oh man, you probably like tried to like save all the good picks to the Dolphins. I picked a freaking punter for my team. Like, I personally would never pick a kicker or a punter. I would never draft a kicker or a punter. I think you can get good guys in free agency or as undrafted free agents. But I was like, if I want this to be a bit realistic, I have to include a few punters and kickers. And the Dolphins currently don't have a punter, I think, under contract. So I grabbed the best punter in the class, the boot out of San Diego State. As for the rest of the draft, Mike McDaniel, his backfield is ran off journeymen and day 3 guys. Ty Chandler is a guy that tested out pretty well. It actually looked pretty good down the stretch for UNC, so it was a good late grab. Zach Tom, I kind of see more as the center of the future going forward. He's a good scheme fit, but he played left tackle the last couple of years, so he's kind of got a bit of versatility to him. Doug Kramer is kind of like, I really think he's a center only guy. So, and it's just depth at the end of the 7th round. And David Bell, man, it really hurt his draft stock with a guy, with how he tested out. It's like, you almost don't expect a guy like that to succeed in the NFL. I really think he can. He's so good after the catch. He's so good with how he controls his body when locating the catch point. I'm willing to take a shot on this cat, especially in this type of offense that loves guys that are good after the catch. I think David Bell's a really good fit in that regard. So, hey, we had 5 picks. Listen, Dolphins fans, you had all your fun during the offseason, during free agency. So, we ain't going to be picking until 102, so it's not going to be that excited. On to the Minnesota Vikings. I know a lot of Vikings fans aren't going to like that I took Trent McDuffie. I'm going to see the comment, oh, he's a slot only. If you think that, you're just wrong. Sorry. This cat's good, especially in the defense that was it Dontel? I'm really bad with the name. Sorry. With the defense that you are now going to be sporting, he is going to be a very, very good fit. Kenyon Green, the verdict's still out on Wyatt Davis. Kenyon Green being available at 46 to challenge for that right guard, even left guard spot. I say he could take Ezra Cleveland's job too. Like, Green's a really good value. Troy Anderson was good value there at 77, and obviously a guy you're not going to start right away. It's more so a pick that'll pay dividends down the line because I imagine Hicks is not a long-term solution. Javion Hiley, don't know why this cat didn't get an invite to the combine. Ridiculous. Very good route runner who's got a little bit of size to him, who's got good length and high points the football very well. Hey, listen. Punters and kickers have to go somewhere. So I grabbed Ryan Stonehouse, who is actually my second punter, my rank 2 punter in this draft class. Not that I would say I'm an expert at punters or kickers. Tyson Anderson's a guy that I think could probably play corner, like legit on the outside. He's got a little versatility to him. Like he could end up being a box safety or a slot, but I'd be interested to see if he could play on the outside. Marquand McCall's kind of a project nose tackle, and then Abraham Smith, man, honestly, good value at 250. He's kind of a do everything running back. Grabbing him late, yeah, So I overall liked this class for the Vikings. Especially, straight up, I'm gonna be higher on McDuffie than most people. So if you don't like the McDuffie pick, it is what it is. I like the guy a lot. On to the New England Patriots, Kyer Elam. He is legitimate. Like, he's a good fit for the Patriots. He really is. And J.C. Jackson just walked out the door. So I felt the need to get Elam. And then actually Nick Benito, for me, is such a good scheme fit. I was like, I already see this guy on the Patriots. When I look at Benito, I see like Jamie Collins. Darian Kennard, just some depth there. A guy that's a bit of a project guard at this point. Micah McFadden's one of my favorite blitzing linebackers in this class. John Ridgeway. Just maybe you hit on a nose tackle at this point, because kind of nose tackle is kind of a revolving door for the Patriots. Kyle Phillips just feels like a Bill Belichick receiver. I mean, having the return skills really is what made him draftable. But Ty Freifogel is a bit opposite. While Kyle Phillips is more like a slot-only guy, Freifogel is a guy that's going to play on the outside. That's a contested catch guy that's got a little bit of speed to him, surprisingly. Straight line speed, that is. It's not going to be a guy you can ask to run a variety of different routes. All right. On to the New Orleans Saints. Chris Olave. I knew, hey, Jameis is back. Let's get him some weapons. I did not expect Matt Corral to be there at 49, so I took him. I was like, you know what? I like Jameis Winston, but Matt Corral's really good value here. So I took him. I couldn't help it. I also added Jalen Naylor, a guy that I like out of Michigan State, who's kind of like this vertical speedster. Chris Olave, he's not just a guy with burners. He's a very good route runner. He's going to be a very good number 2. I think Naylor could come in, be a guy you can play on the outside or play in the slot. If you want a guy that, hey, go ball, go and get it. He's kind of a good guy to get at 161. You might be like, Pierre Strong, that's a weird pick. Running back, Alvin Kamara. I don't know. Is he going to serve prison time? I don't know. I mean, he all intents and purposes could get out of it. Even if he does, grabbing another back to kind of help with the workload there. Pierre Strong is a guy that I have liked a lot during this draft process. Max Mitchell, good value. You just lost Terran Armstead, so honestly, I think offensive line help is very much needed there in New Orleans. Like Chris Paul, I think is a guy that can immediately come in and challenge for either of the guard spots. Like, I like Chris Paul a lot. I think down the line could even play tackle. Might be getting ahead of myself there, but I think he does have that potential. If anything, Max Mitchell is a guy who really, he's got good tape. It was just the off-season draft process has not been ideal. Overall, I really like this class, especially Matt Corral being available at 49. I was like, I can't pass on that. All right, the New York Giants. We went in Ken McWanu. There was no question with what we were going to be doing. I came into this like, all right, I know. I came in like, we got to get Daniel Jones help. And I don't think that just means on the offensive line. So we grabbed a Kem. But that's why when Jalen Tolbert was available there, listen, you haven't got much out of your receivers. Like, Sterling Shepard is like a fine slot guy. Kadarius Toney's a guy that you really got to scheme stuff to. Kenny Galladay, things didn't really work out last year. Maybe they're better this year. Then you have, who was it, the Auburn kid? Who's really feels more like just a vertical threat. Like, Jalen Tolbert could be a guy you can develop. So at 67, I was like, yeah, let's take a shot at some playmakers. Jelani Woods could be a mismatch nightmare at tight end. So I took him. New defensive coordinator. He likes his safeties. Daxton Hill, a guy that can play in the slot. He can play free. I I thought that was a good pick. Obviously, with the James Bradbury, like the trade rumors have started to like fire back up recently, the last couple of days. So Sauce Gardner for me was kind of a no-brainer, especially with Kyle Hamilton already off the board. I was like, yeah, no, we'll go Sauce. So Myjah Sanders though, I don't know. I haven't seen his his pro day results outside of he came in weighing at 247. I think he was wonderful value at 112. Depending on what he tested out at his pro day, he's probably going to go like 30 to 40 picks higher than this, depending on how he tested out. Tyler Batty, get a good scat back, good receiving back. Got him there. And then, yeah, I kind of closed out the draft with more offensive line help, some guys you could develop. Alex Lindstrom, probably a center-only guy. Justin Schaefer, I don't think he's got reasonably good upside. Good luck finding a guy with upside, though, in later part of the draft. But I think he could be a solid guard, replacement guard down the future. But overall, I really liked this draft. Like, Jalen Tolbert was like the pleasant surprise in this class. All right, the New York Jets. I knew I wanted to hit receiver, and I did that with Drake London, but I didn't stop there because Tyquan Thornton, I feel, is like the vertical threat. Like that might just be what he is in the NFL. Like he's not going to be a guy he's more like your wide receiver 4 that go on the field, go run deep, and do it very fast. That might just be his role, but I think that's kind of perfect. Bringing in Drake London, he's a bit different. He's a more physical type of receiver that can produce after the catch. And Thornton kind of is like a guy that can create a lot of mismatches. But I went KT with pick 1. That was kind of easy for me. I'm just going to assume that they're not going to, like, Fant and Becton are the guys of the future. Just going to assume that. So I went with KT, got edge help. Lewis Cine. I just liked it at safety because, like, right now they're kind of like I think they're going to go with more of like a split high. But kind of like the safeties they have right now are what? They got Jordan Whitehead, which is good. That's one spot down. Ashton Davis, the jury's still out on him. And then LaMarcus Joyner is more of this veteran presence, a guy that can kind of fill a variety of different roles. So I saw a scene there, and I was like, yeah, we'll take him here. And then I went ahead and was like, let's get talent, and let's kind of like overhaul this linebacker position. Because Brian Asamoah, straight up, could be the Fred Warner to this defense. Am I saying he is Fred Warner? Absolutely not. I'm saying the role he plays would be in a solid defense, I think would be similar to Fred Warner. While Channing Tindall is more of this Will Blitzen linebacker. I like that. Jerome Ford is a guy that's he's a bit different of a runner compared to Michael Carter. He's one of my favorite running backs in this class. Isaiah McCullen, we grab a development, like a project corner, because I mean, straight up, Bryce Hall and DJ Reed are probably going to be the starters going forward. So grabbing McCullen, a guy who tests out very well, it's kind of nice. And you might be like, hey man, the Jets, they went out and they got tight end help. They got Uzomah. They grabbed Conklin. I kind of see Chig, the tight end from Maryland, is more of this like maybe H-back. Like he's kind of a positionless player, but he can create, like, he can be a bit of a mismatch. Like if you try to throw a linebacker on him, like good luck. Even a safety, like he's going to be a guy you kind of like plug in. Maybe he's this H-back, maybe not. Like he's such an interesting player that I feel good with a guy like LaFleur to figure out how to use him. On to the Philadelphia Eagles. And I imagine Eagles fans, I don't know what y'all going to think about this draft. I kind of liked it. Devontae Wyatt, I think you could throw him immediately into that rotation you have there on the defensive line. I didn't really feel the need to really go after defensive line heavily, like Jeff, because they brought back Derek Barnett, especially at edge. I was like, you know what? They brought back Barnett. They have Graham. They have Sweat. So Jeffrey Guntner, however you say it, Gunter, out of Coastal Carolina, he's a bit of a project, but he's also kind of a physical freak. So while you develop him, and they also brought in Hassan Reddick. So, like, grabbing a guy late was more ideal. Treylon Burks, that's the receiver I want for the Eagles. A guy with size that attacks vertically. I like that. Devin Lloyd just feels like a good fit after they brought on White. They still have TJ Edwards. Devin Lloyd's a bit different than both those guys, so grabbed him there. Jaquan Brisker, it's just freaking phenomenal value. And actually, I really like what I did with corner. Like Mario Goodrich, while I don't think his upside's anything special, he's a good fit for the defense. And Cam Taylor-Britt is a tone setter at corner. Like, this dude comes downhill with a little head of steam and will be playing the run game very well. Cam Jurgens, I thought it was just a good pickup. At 124, I was like, you know what? This could be a Kelsey replacement. I don't mind that. Miles Sanders is hurt all the time. Bam Knight, that was a good pick at 154. It's a bit different than what they have in Kenneth Gainwell. Actually, a whole lot of different what they have in Gainwell. And I know they got Bart. Was it Bart Scott? No, not Bart Scott. Boston Scott. Come on, let's add more competition back there. And then Jake Ferguson, I think, is just going to be a good tight end 2 down the road. I like what he can do as a receiver. It's not flashy, but the dude just gets open. It's a good pick at 194. So, overall, I really like this draft class. I don't know. You let me know what you think, Eagles fans. Pittsburgh Steelers. Jordan Davis, available at 20. I knew I wasn't going quarterback. I took it. Kenny Pickett, though, at 52. At least bring in a guy that can challenge Trubisky. And don't you tell me it's Dwayne Haskins. Don't you tell me it's Mason Rudolph. Let's bring in someone who could legitimately challenge Mitch Trubisky if he ends up being the same guy we saw in Chicago. Kenny Pickett at 52 is great value. You're not investing a lot in it. So I think the biggest gripe here will be like, you didn't really address the offensive line. I feel like they did that enough in free agency. Like, what they did tells me they kind of like some of the guys they already have on their offensive line. Like guys like Corafor, Dan Moore. They brought in James Daniels. So I didn't really feel the need to address offensive line. I grabbed John Metchie. I think would be a really good slot guy. Maybe even more than that. I just kind of feel like he might be capped at slot. Then a very good passing back in Kyren Williams. Like, he's going to be good as a receiving threat, and he's going to be a good pass blocker. So you don't have to have Najee on the field 24/7. And then, I mean, with the last 3 picks, it's like Ryan Van Denmark is it's just a guy I liked out of the Shrine Bowl. I don't know. The upside's not entirely great. I think he'd be a solid replacement level starter at some point if you need him to be. Corker, honestly, kind of a steal there for a box safety. I know Terrell Edmonds is kind of coming off I guess technically a career year, but yeah, I think Corker might be it's a little competition. And then A.B. Roberts is a guy that he's more of a special teamer, so I actually really like Roberts. So let me know, Steelers fans. Let me know how I wasted pick 52 on a quarterback. And then the San Francisco 49ers. My mindset going in here was, listen, I don't have a pick till 61. I want to get maybe a little bit more depth and talent on the offensive line, since that's kind of the engine to the offenses they're blocking. So I wanted to be sure of that, and then I also wanted to get a slot because you lost your slot to Denver. So Dylan Parham, a guy that I think can play guard and center, not bad here. Kind of makes up for like a Dawson Deaton, who might be a center only guy in the NFL, but both are really good scheme fits wherever they play. Deaton might 221. He's probably not going to be a starter anyway. Marcus Jones. I knew that was a guy I really wanted to target at 93, and he was available there because he also brings good return skills. And JoJo Domann was just, honestly, it's going to be a good coverage linebacker, especially at a position that had a lot of injuries the last few seasons. Byron Cook is just a good hard-hitting safety. Eric Johnson has been one of my draft process darlings. I really like what he brings. He brings a lot of juice on the interior. So hey, dude, the Niners, they love their pass rush. Doesn't matter where it comes from on the defensive line. They just love their pass rush. Speaking of which, this is where I want to take the shot on Adam Anderson. If you don't know what's going on with Adam Anderson, he was such a highly sought out prospect. What happened to him? Just Google it. He's got some legal issues. I think it's still worth taking a shot at late in the draft. And I think this was about maybe late 5th, early 6th round pick. I can't remember. But listen, worst case scenario, you release the guy. But the upside is enough for me to at least take a shot on it. You might be like, oh, all these it's a character thing. It's listen, if he ends up being if he ends up being that guy, then just release him. It's worth a shot. Hey, man, could also be innocent. Who knows? Max Borghi, he's just fun, dude. He might end up just being I think he might be more a receiver than a running back, but he's just fun. Then Cole's this was literally the last pick of the draft, and I was like, I really like Cole, former transfer from Alcorn State, went to Louisville. I like a lot. I think he's a guy that could play slot, play in the box. I just really liked him, and so I snagged him. But yeah, no, I think I came in and I executed my game plan for my draft strategy for the Niners perfectly, in my opinion. All right, the Seattle Seahawks. My strategy was I just want to draft talent for the future. Give me the guys with the biggest, meanest upside. And I did exactly that. Trayvon Walker at 9. Big, bad upside. Tyler Smith. Big, bad upside. Could end up being your tackle. Best case scenario, he's going to be a freaking nice guard. Christian Harris. Big, bad upside. The big hiccup with Christian Harris is kind of his zone recognition and just overall understanding when dropping back. He's a better man coverage guy, but his zone feel I think will get better. He's a guy I don't mind betting on. Nicholas Petit-Frere, a guy who has the frame, he has the physical tools to be a really good tackle. It's just not there yet, and we saw that this year. It's just not there yet, but it can be. When was the last time the Seahawks had a good center? I can't remember. But Donovan West, I think, could be that guy. I'm actually a big fan of Donovan West. Devontae Price might be more of a returner and more of a receiver. He's my, if you remember Joe McKnight from USC, rest in peace, my boy. But, he kind of reminds me of Price. Or I guess Price reminds me of McKnight. I think he could be a very good pass catching back. I think he could be a very good return man. Dominique Robinson has been playing edge for all of two and a half seasons. He's a former wide receiver, and he actually showed he could play on the inside. At the Senior Bowl, he was having his way with guys. He's still raw, but this dude's upside is immense. And then Akil Glass is a guy that don't know why he didn't get a combine invite. I thought he was one of the better quarterbacks. I think it was at the NFLPA Bowl. I thought he was one of the better quarterbacks. I thought he may have been the best quarterback there. So I don't mind grabbing a guy there late, day 3 as a developmental quarterback. Because the dude's he's got an NFL arm. He may not have like the tightest of spirals or the prettiest throws, but he throws accurately, and his touch again, dude's a raw prospect, but he's got an NFL arm. I took a shot. So I love this draft in terms of upside for the Seahawks. That's all I wanted to do. We're not competing this year. I don't want to go quarterback if I'm the Seahawks this year. I'd rather invest in quarterback in a better quarterback draft. Give me all the upside. That's what I did. And then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You got Tom Brady back. Congratulations. I went Tyler Linderbaum. I do think he might be a center only. I know they brought back Ryan Jensen, but I just couldn't pass on him there. It's just a good player. I mean, Tampa Bay is a good team, so having that type of depth is not that bad. But with an open spot there at left guard, I don't mind taking a shot on Linderbaum. As you kind of saw, like later in the draft at Thayer Mumford, I kind of got a fail safe if Linderbaum ends up being a guy that's only a center in the NFL, because Mumford's going to be a guard, not a high ceiling on him. But the floor is high, I think. He's going to be a solid pro in the NFL. James Cook, I grabbed as the pass catcher for Leonard Fournette. Like, this guy's really good. He's going to be the James White for Tom Brady. Perion Winfrey's the Sue replacement. This dude's got a lot of juice. You see Kennedy Brooks, and it was just like, this is a really good running back available. I'll take it. And then Cole Kelly, just kind of same thing with the Kill Glass, kind of a developmental quarterback. And be like, oh, well, they're developing Kyle Trask. Well, why not just grab another guy who you can develop there if Kyle Trask isn't the guy? So overall, I like it. I drafted good players. All right. Tennessee Titans. I don't know if Tennessee fans will like this draft, because I know a lot of Tennessee fans, when I draft Bernhard Raimann, because I'm high on him, they don't like it. But I think he's immediately your right tackle. And then at 90, Carson Strong's on the board. I know a lot of people are higher on Carson Strong than I am. I don't think the knee is that big of a concern, but I don't know, man. He just ended up falling. Listen, it's the NFL draft. Good players fall. If you're butthurt about, why did this player fall? Oh, I don't know. Why did Trey Smith fall to the 6th round? Why? Good players fall. It happens. So he was available, and you know what? I like this better than drafting a quarterback in the 1st round, because it's not like you're saying, hey, tick, Tannehill, get it together. You draft Carson Strong and be like, hey, Tannehill, you got 2 more years on your contract. Calm down. This is a guy that, we're going to develop it. Hey, best case scenario, we got a high-end backup, and you're still our top 10 quarterback. So the investment is little, but the reward could be big. Tyler Algier. Hey, if Derrick Henry goes down, who did y'all didn't bring anybody really to back up Derrick Henry, did y'all? Excusez-moi. Okay, why do you want to show me not Tennessee Volunteers, Tennessee Titans? What's y'all's current depth chart at running back? Here we go. All right. Y'all got Hilliard, who's journeyman. Trenton Cannon, who's more of a scat back, right? Jordan Wilkins, who fell out of favor in Indy in their running back committee. So it's like, yeah, if Derrick Henry goes down again, like, what do you have? Dude, Tyler Algier is a great fit for this blocking scheme. And then I knew I wanted to get a nose tackle. Ellis, low key, out of Idaho. He's a big meaty boy, but he ain't half bad. I did grab you a vertical threat in Danny Gray. He go fast. He go fast, real fast. Jesse Luketa, I list him here as edge, but he's also a guy that could play off-ball linebacker as he has in the past there at Penn State. But I think the upside with him was just too much to pass up at 204. And then Brad Hawkins is just very good depth, a very smart safety, who might not be like, he doesn't have like that athletic upside, but he is just I think he's a very good safety to have on the roster, very good depth option there at 219. So overall, like, I think Tennessee fans, you're either gonna like this or you're gonna hate it. There's one or two options, right? I think some of y'all hate the Ryman pick because y'all aren't high on Ryman, and then you're gonna be frustrated that I was able to get Strong at 90. Like, yeah, calm down. If you think that's bad, you're wrong. Then are we on the last pick? Dude, it feels like I've been doing this for a couple hours. The Washington Commanders. Let me know how I did, Commander fans. Listen, I wanted to go in and get receiver. It didn't work out that way. I only had 6 picks to work with, and I wasn't there wasn't a guy that I liked with my first 3 picks. Derek Stingley, I wasn't passing on Derek Stingley. He made it to 11. That's just great value. At 47, I mean, Jahan Dotson was off the board, Sky Moore, Christian Watson, even George Pickens was all off the board. So I was like, okay, well, we have a big need at running back or at linebacker. Chad Muma's a very, like, there's a lot of good day 2 linebackers. So I was like, okay, we'll take Muma here at 47. And then at 113 of all places, like, what? You saw me take Romeo Dubs at 99. Justin Ross was off the board by then. Like even Kevin Austin, a guy that I really like, was off the board. Like, I would have to reach at wide receiver at that point. Like, who was my next receiver off the board after pick 113? It was David Bell at 125. So I was like, well, shoot, I could go get Luke Godek at a Central Michigan, who actually has a good versatility along the offensive line, whether it's tackle or guard. That's just good value, better than the value I'm going to get at reach and wide receiver at this point. So I was like, the way the draft fell, it just didn't fall that way for me. Getting Zalis Jones Jr., though, he's like going to be 25 at the beginning of the year. But he's a speedster, and he's a good return man. And this is where I'm going to try and make it up with y'all. This is one of my sleepers. This guy's going to be on the sleepers video. D. Anderson. This is the guy that Akil Glass was thrown to at Alabama A&M. I've really only watched about like half a game of him. He tested out really well. I really like how he looked in that half game. I'm going to watch more this week since I'm going to take a couple of days off nursing myself from recording this video. But I was like, let's take a swing of the bat at 2:30. So I took D. Anderson. And you might be like, okay, well, what about safety? You didn't really go out and get a safety for me because there wasn't really a good free safety, like a good deep guy available. Like, you could have made the case for Jaquan Brisker at 47. But at that point, it's like he's more of a split high guy. He's not a guy he's not a guy I trust as a center fielder. Or I could go after, I think, the much bigger need being probably linebacker, the middle of the field, because Jamin Davis, he really struggled with that last year. So, and you'd be like, well, Jamin Davis was just a rookie. It's like, yeah, but probably better to have a guy in the middle like Muma and then have Davis be more of this like will linebacker. So there's a little bit of that, little bit of what kind of happened to me while I was drafting for Washington. And then Scott Nelson, actually a guy that has played pretty well for Wisconsin over the last couple of years, and he actually tested out pretty good. So I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna take a shot on a guy that I think could be a good, like deep safety center fielder, Scott Nelson's not a bad option. So yeah, Washington fans, I'm sorry. This is just how it felt for y'all, and I still think it was a pretty good job. I think, a guaranteed return man in Jones. And then Muma and Stanley are starters immediately, while Godek is just a very valuable depth piece. So, yeah, and then I gave you two guys that I think could be really like good late day 3 gems in this class. So, I don't know, man. That's my reasoning for this draft class. You let me know what you think in the comment section below, but we did it. We got through all the teams. You let me know. How long is this video? Oh my gosh, it's very long, but hopefully you enjoy it. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take a break. Be with us for the live streams later in the week, as well as, watch for videos coming out later. Again, show this freaking video love. It takes a lot of work and a lot of time. So hopefully you appreciate it. But until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.